afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and we're here at our second general meeting for fall 2022, and I'm your host, Noreen Daly, and this evening we're going to be delving into one of my favorite areas. But before we get into that, of course, we need to have our devotion, and that will be done by one of our first-year students, Sanique.
Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, guys. So for today's devotion, the first song that we're going to be singing is J-O-Y, Joy. So we're going to begin. J-O-Y, joy, joy in the Holy Ghost. J-O-Y, joy, joy in the Lord. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Joy in the Lord. J-O-Y, joy, joy in the Holy Ghost. J-O-Y, joy, joy in the Lord. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Joy in the Lord. Sweet Jesus, what a wonder you are. You are brighter than the morning stars. Oh, you are fairer, much fairer than the lily that goes by the way. You are precious, more precious than gold. One more time. Sweet Jesus, what a wonder you are. You are brighter than the morning stars. Oh, you are fairer, much fairer than the lily that goes by the way. You are precious, more precious than gold. Amen. Okay, so the thought for today is from 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 and 5. It says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love is the common denominator in how we relate to God, to others, or to ourselves. As followers of Christ, love is our trademark. Love is a tricky word. It's most often understood as an intense feeling of deep affection. Biblically, love has a much deeper and richer meaning. It transcends a feeling or emotion. This is what we see in 1 Corinthians 13. Paul tells us that love isn't merely a feeling, but a way of relating to others. So we're going to end with prayer. Please stand and bow your heads for prayer, please. Okay. Dear most gracious, kind, and compassionate Father, thank you for bringing us here this afternoon. Thank you for allowing us to see another day, and I ask that you guide us throughout the course of this meeting. May it be a good and successful one, and give us life and continue to bless us, Lord. In your precious name I pray, amen.
Thank you so much, Ms. Frost. That was Sanique Frost, one of our first-year students here at DCS. And if it is, thank you so much for that. And if it is that you're not already following us on our social media handles, just a reminder, on YouTube, we're at DCSNCU TV. On Instagram, it's DCS_NCU. And on Facebook, DCSatNCU. Now, before we get into choosing the right one and speak to some couples that are right here on stage, we're going to be getting a word from Miss Khadijah Bryan.
Good afternoon, DCS. Are you guys doing fine? All right. I stand here to bring you not good tidings, but rather unfortunate tidings. But I want to keep it real with DCS. You're my family, and I love you guys. So I'm gonna cry this morning, so I'm gonna not cry again. No, there's been a lot that has happened with me. Many of you would know that I was in USM. You did not see me getting inaugurated. I had to resign from USM because of a number of issues I can't speak about right now because of other issues that are happening with the wider university. Those issues, though, have been taking a toll on me from April until now. It's been, 7 months worth of tears, fighting, and all that. And I know that DCS and USM the two should never relate, right? There's no way I should be having issues with one organization and it spills over into the next. But unfortunately, the issues from one have taken a toll on me on a deeply personal level that I am no longer able to serve as the Burgundy jacket holder. You guys would have voted for me to be in this position. You guys would have spent time with me, many of you. You are my friends. But unfortunately, because of, I don't want to cite mental health, but unfortunately because of how personal things have gotten and to the level at which I am affected, I have to step away from the Burgundy jacket holder. So from the Burgundy jacket holder position, it's not something that was decided, just a quick thing. It would have been weeks of consideration. It would have been lots of conversations with Miss Daly, Mr. Cuff, other members of faculty, my friends, my co-workers. But it's a decision that I have to take for myself. If I'm not able to best serve you guys, it does not make any sense. And for me, in this moment, I have to choose fixing myself first. I'm not gonna cry, so I'm gonna wrap this up and then come down. But it's October. I have not done the things I wanted to do, but I have no doubt that the next person to take over from me will do an exceptional job. I don't know which of the ladies it will be. Right now, Tristan is operating on his own. But I wanted to tell you myself. I didn't want anybody else to tell you for me because, yeah, we are a family. And I want to make sure that you hear from my mouth to say, yes, Khadija, she did say that she'll be leaving. So, thank you for voting me in. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you.
Just so that there isn't a whole lot of speculation, there will not be a replacement, and I'll tell you why. For several years, we've had just a female, because for whatever reason, we didn't have a male. So this time around, we will only have a male Burgundy jacket holder for this school year. All right, so we're gonna switch focus slightly, and I believe we're gonna, Madam Producer, we're ready for emphasis spotlight, because as I alluded to earlier, what we're gonna be talking about today, and as you already know, the theme is choosing the right one. Now, we have on my left, the Cuffs, and on my right, the Robertsons. Okay. All right, happy people, they're happy people. They're always smiling. But while we're getting the first emphasis spotlight ready, I just want to tell you just a little bit about each of them. Now, the Robertsons, which is the younger couple of the two, they've dated for 5 years, married for 4, and together for almost 10. Clap them people, that's not easy. That is definitely not easy. Now, the Cuffs over on this side, dated for 4 and married for almost 9. So between both of them, I am sure we will get some advice that all of us need because they're obviously doing something right. Now we're going to TV first because I'm seeing Selena. Come on up, Selena. And she's going to be doing our emphasis spotlight for television.
Good afternoon, everyone. So welcome to the television segment of Emphasis Spotlight. For those who do not know me, I am Selenia James. Now, today we're going to be talking about the tripod. Now, a tripod is a 3-legged stand, and it's actually designed to support a camera. Now, the cameras are mounted to the tripod for stability. Now, I'm going to talk about the 3 parts of a tripod. Now, you're going to be seeing one. You're looking around in the room. You're seeing one yourself, so you can also identify the parts for yourself. Now, the first part is the head. Now, the head of a tripod is used to, basically, it allows the camera to pan left or right or to tilt up or down. A camera's head is very adjustable, and it can balance the camera's head, and it can balance the camera without moving the legs. Now, how do you do that? The leveling bubble. Now, that is found on the tripod's head, and this bubble, for it to be balanced, for the tripod to be balanced, the bubble has to be in the center, and that can be easily adjusted by the knob that is found underneath the head. Now, the next part I'm going to talk about are the legs. Now, every tripod, well, most tripods have 3 legs, and those legs are supported by what we call a spreader. Now, the spreader is what prevents the tripod from sliding or spreading any further apart from what you need it to be, okay? Now, the last part I'm going to talk about is the handle, and this is very adjustable, and there's a little knob on the side that you can use to adjust the handle to your personal liking, of course. Now, please join me again next month for another hot topic in Emphasis Spotlight. You know this is the best emphasis, at least that's what I think. So yes, thank you guys for joining me. Big up on yourself.
I think coming up next, we have journalism with Marlene Freeman.
Good afternoon, everyone. TV people are so loud. Oh my God. So today what we'll be talking about is feature writing. No, what is feature writing? Go ahead, Trisha Gay. Yes, just like relationships. So a feature article is an article that is about softer news. So you have hard news stories and you have softer news. A feature may be a profile of a person who does a voluntary work in the community or a preview of a movie about to hit the theaters. Light news writing, strong feature writing is simple, clear, and orderly. But unlike news stories, feature stories don't have to be written about events that just happened. So instead, they focus on human interest, mood, atmosphere, emotions, irony, and humor. Here are some tips that you can follow when writing a feature story. So first, get the reader's attention. Just like in a relationship, you want the person's attention. And however you go about doing that, you need the attention. Secondly, organize your story carefully. You don't want to go as a boy and you need to tell the girl. You need to put in 2 words and you're shy, you don't know what to say. You have to organize yourself, right? All right, you use short paragraphs and vary the lengths of sentences for effect, just like the relationship. Again, you don't want to talk too much at first. Of course not. Write with strong verbs and nouns, but go easy on adjectives. Don't go easy on, well, probably you should go easy on adjectives in the relationship. And these are some examples. So the man was tall. You know, you can make it a little bit more spicy. The man's head almost brushed against the 8-foot ceiling in the room. So you know the man very tall. So those are just a few there. Oh, write tightly. You don't want a long drawn out feature because you lose the interest of whoever is reading. And yeah, but you need a long relationship though, because you're going to get married, right? This is it. I'm Marlene Freeman. Until next time, see you.
Thank you so much. Let me tell you what's the thinking behind having this done, especially for first-year students. There are a lot of you enter the department, and in your mind, I am here to do television, I'm here to do PR. But you never know where you're going to end up, and I see Bass nodding. So the idea behind having you being introduced is to just be exposed to other things, just to widen your knowledge base. All right, so be open to it, because you really never know where you're going to end up. People leave here with a public relations emphasis, they end up in journalism. They leave with TV, they end up in another space. So just be open, because you just never know. We're going to be taking a short video at this point. Just a reminder for those who aren't already branded, just why they should be branded.
It's small, little but tallow. Small but packing a big punch. The DCS pins are amazing and add newness to your attire. The intricate design and creativity makes it a must-have. And how about some burgundy? Not that one, this! The new and improved DCS burgundy shirts are a must-have. You're already outstanding, so why not stand out? DCS pins cost $500, while shirts cost $3,200. Get yours at the DCS office today.
I'm smiling because of what was said just now. Mrs. Forsyth. Before, not so long ago, she was Jonah Lee Campbell, but now she is Jonah Lee Forsyth. And she's going to be doing our radio emphasis spotlight.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. All right, so we're going to talk about this instrument in my hand. If anybody can tell me what it's called. The name I'm looking for does not start with an M. I mean, the name I'm looking for does not start with an M, so I don't want microphone at all. What's another name for a microphone? What is another name for a microphone? It starts with a T. No? Talking device? No. So in my hand is a transducer. Does that sound familiar? So we're going to talk about how a microphone works. There is a diaphragm inside of it that vibrates. And from that vibration, a magnet is touched, which is near to a coil that creates an electrical current. That electrical current is sent to this thing right here called a speaker. The speaker works in tandem with the microphone, kind of opposite of the microphone. So whereas this vibrates, the diaphragm vibrates, and it creates an electrical current, that takes the electrical current, turns it into a vibration, and that's how we get sound. Very simple, very easy. That's it for your radio part of the Emphasis Spotlight.
Thank you so much, Madam Forsyth. And last but definitely not least, we have Satasia Coke with Public Relations.
All right, the side orders have came. Now it's time for the big meal, big deal. PR is a big deal, we now ask. So today we're going to be talking about public relations campaigns. And simply put, let me draw from a professional definition of what a PR campaign is. So, simply put, a PR campaign is a combination of different practices with specific objectives which share the same goal and within a fixed period of time. Now, a PR campaign may have different objectives. For example, let's say that we have a startup business. So the business is new, and the main aim or the goal of the campaign would have been to get more people to become aware about the business, so spread awareness and, definitely to increase its customers. So, in doing so, we can employ a few strategies for the public relations campaign for a new business or a startup business. One of such is traditional media, where we can employ the use of a newspaper article or a feature about the business, just to let people, become aware about what the business is, what it offers, the benefits of its products and services, that sort of a thing. We can also employ the use of social media. And with social media, of course, it's little to no cost. And we can also incorporate the use of social media influencers, which, of course, can assist in getting the public to know more about the business. Because we know we love the people them way, the public's eye, and if this is a business that they're affiliated with, people are more drawn to those businesses. So some strategies that can be used to basically just boost a public relations campaign: can use traditional media, we can use social media, and of course, word of mouth. That's it for the PR bit for today.
Thank you. We'll now be getting an item in the form of poetry from Miss Miller. I think it's Rajane, right? Or it's Rajane? Rajane.
Good afternoon, everyone. The name is Rajane, so yes. My poem is entitled, Choosing the Right One. Man was not made to be alone. He was made to love and care. Created to live on a beautiful earth and have a mate with which to share. As young people, we ought to wait and allow the Lord to lead us. Patience as we anticipate the person who will complete us. But sometimes the wait seems too long, too difficult, and too lonely. And sometimes we make mistakes we wouldn't have made if we'd moved slowly. We fall for the physical characteristics and sometimes ignore the rest. We know that they're narcissistic and yet still become obsessed. You see her walking and note her gorgeous body, her voice smooth melody, and she speaks so very softly. Your soul awakens with manly desire, and as she bats her eyelashes, you know you're on fire. Yet amidst the passion and the heated lust, and through the sizzling setting dust, you must stop to think, you must stop to wonder, would she be the best mother for your daughter? You look deep into his warm brown eyes and stand weak-kneed, mesmerized. His voice sending shivers up and down your spine, and you long to hear him say, baby, you're mine. His body type, just to your liking, moves with power and agility, being strong and smooth. But while he, your heart has won, would he be the best father to your son? Will he take you and use you, betray and abuse you, ignoring your heart, yet still saying he can't lose you? Will she hurt and slight you, backstab and backbite you, ignoring your love as she uses words to fight you? Or will he care with a love so sweet and real that helps mend your brokenness and allows you to heal? Will she treat you with respect and understand who you are, staying faithful when you're here and when you're afar? Will this person be the one to take your hand, holding you up when you no longer can stand? Or will they break you down and destroy your energy, their actions separating you from friends and family? When we think about love, on these things we must ponder. We have to know the difference between a lamb and a monster. We must think of the risks of being hurt and broken, but also the benefits of true love, pure and open. The truth is today, fellow DCS students, that we must watch and pray to avoid the imprudent. Only God can defend us and keep our hearts safe, protecting and keeping us from terrible heartaches. As much as we may try till we think we're done, only God can help us when choosing the right one. Thank you.
Definitely, it's a pity. Just now, Malik, you didn't show these gentlemen. But anyway, definitely the right note to then have this conversation. But I'm going to start a little differently. Rather than asking some questions and then allow our audience members to pitch in, I want each of you, when you think of the other one, what comes to mind and why? So let me ask that again. When you think of each other, what comes... Bass ready. Bass is so ready. what comes to mind and why? Who wants to go first? We're going to go with the females first. So, Bass.
PG or
This is going to be, this is being recorded to be uploaded to our YouTube.
I'm
Okay,
kidding.
all right.
I know. What comes to mind? Unending support. Yes, unending support, selflessness, someone who is just so sacrificial for many reasons. And if I start talking, I'm not going to finish. But it really, and consistent. That's one of the most important things.
Good.
Yeah.
There's a reason I'm having them do this, and we're going to backtrack to see how you got to this point. Donna, say.
So for me, it's consistency. It is, well, me I forgot copy all of your word there, mom, cause for real though, for true. I think about consistency when I think about my husband. I think about supportiveness. I think about dutiful. I think about a committed man.
Okay.
So those are my words.
Good.
And the reason why I chose those words, well, consistency, because one, you know, you can't just, if you want to build, you don't just build in one day. Building takes time, it takes effort, it takes patience, it takes dedication. And that's when you are shown that for the last 10 years. When I think about committedness, well, that supports consistency. When I think about his support, I know that all of you sitting here, if you know me, I want you to think of one event where you ever see me by myself, or my husband is not there to support me, even before he became my husband. And I could go on and on, but I'll pass the mic.
Okay.
I think about beauty, not good looks, but beauty from inside out. You know, in Jamaica, we would say like, you look good, you smell good, you know, so you're good as. But it doesn't stop there, you know, because what you see right here is a little extra. But when she goes home and she takes off the face and she takes off the makeup, the beauty remains. And that is what is most important for me. Her heart, her soul, everything about her resonates beauty.
Good. When you?
Yes, so when I think about Donna, say strength, that's what comes to mind first, strength. Secondly, it's unconditional love, and unwavering love that it she's able to see the best in everyone. If you want to learn how to love, it's Donna Say, because trust me, like she looks past the ugly and can find the good and magnify that, you know, and she's that supportive person. Again, as Mr. Koff said, the beauty is inside out. I always tell her that she's more beautiful on the inside than she is on the outside. So, what's that? Strength, unconditional love,
and beauty. All right, thank you so much.
Real.
Let me backtrack a bit also. One of the reasons behind doing this is that I personally have a concern for my young people. Let me tell you why. I observe some of you, sometimes someone will tell me on a business, and because of that, I recognize that some of you allow some people to get close to you that really should be at a distance. Really should be at a distance. So I want you to look and learn. Look and learn from them. And let me tell you something. A lot of you haven't chosen yet, and I want you to be careful how you choose, because how you end up in life is going to be very dependent on the partner that you have. And I'm sure they will tell you that. A lot of the things that Bass is able to do is because of Brian. A lot of things that she's able to do, Donna say, is because of Wayne you and vice versa. So don't just sit and say, oh, that is cute. No, listen. No, I'm serious. Listen and learn from them. Now my question to both couples now, and either one can answer. At what point you said to yourself, okay, this is the one for me? At what point? At what point?
For me, it was literally hearing Wayne Hughes' goals. When we spoke, our goals aligned and our values aligned. And so because I know that he sees life the way I see life and he's able to understand me, even if he doesn't agree, I knew that this is my husband.
Okay. That's...
I knew that Brian was the one actually 6 months before we started dating, and we dated for 4 years, 4 long years, right? I knew because I literally asked God for a sign, because I am big on making sure that God approves and puts his stamp of approval on every single aspect of my life. And so when I met this handsome young man many years ago, you know, I was like, well, him look good, him can go on. You know, him could have been my husband. But before getting, you know, throwing myself all in, I needed to know that he was my husband. Because a good girl have no time for waste, right? Hello? I don't have any time. And so I literally asked God for a sign. I'm like, Lord, give me a sign, you know, and the Lord literally gave me a sign. And the sign, as some of you already know, it was seeing the Lord pointing me to a picture in my phone that we had taken. And he said, look in the phone for the picture. And when I looked at the picture, we were standing close to a traffic light, and the traffic light was on green above both of our heads. And the Lord said, that's your sign. I'm like, yes! And so since then, I knew that he was my husband. But the thing is, I never told him that I got my sign that he was my husband, because I was positive that him and God never vex. And if God could tell me, then he could tell him. I actually told him about my sign a year after we got married, which was 5 years later, because I knew that God giving me the sign, he would do the same for him, and that's exactly what happened.
Nice. Brian?
For me, I didn't know, but it goes back to ensuring that this is God's plan for your life. No matter what anybody wants to say, and a lot of times we get into relationships for the now, and years down the road we end up crashing and burning. So I wanted to make sure that God was a part of it. And it came from a movie. Tyler Perry's Madea Gets a Job. I was watching the show one night all by myself again. So it's important. She didn't tell me, and I didn't feel pressured based on what she said. But I was watching the show, and I was questioning my life. And the main character in the show was doing the same thing I was doing, and the same answer I got. So it was a different confirmation, but it was important for God's sanction.
Okay. When you?
Yeah, honestly, I knew right from the start. Like, one of the words that I didn't mention earlier was real. It gets no realer. And what our covenant is established on is our trust. So once I knew that I could trust her, that was it for me. I was just like, I feel safe. You need to have that type of trust, because that is what brings you through everything, because nothing else matters, you know. But once you know that she has me and I have her, then the world is just like...
A lot of us will look at both of them and think, aww. But we know it has not been easy. And of course, we don't see the other side. So tell those of us who will watch this and those who are looking on now, how is it that even in the low moments you say to yourself, you know, I'm in this for life?
So for us, well, for me, you know how they say the sky is always blue? Right now, as Mr. Koff just referred to the weather, whether it's dark clouds, the base of it is blue. And that comes from God's commitment to us. And it's the same for me and Wayne. Our commitment to each other is what's really important. It's really to understand that I am a person and Wayne Hugh is a person. Donna say have our moments, so Wayne Hugh must can have his moments. If I being a woman, it's said that women are more emotional and they have the means to express it, then why shouldn't he? And that's really how I look at life. When I think about the fact that, well, I don't have this, I'm not going to expect you to have it either. I'm going to expect that you are working just as hard as I am to get it. And that keeps it churning because you know that it's hard work, it's dedication, and once this person have the dedication, once this person is committed to doing the hard work to make it work, then it cannot fail. We have this saying that, well, most of us probably say it, your ship don't sink unless water get in. Nobody else's opinion matters. If my husband good with it, then I stay good with it. And if he say no, well, I have to hear why he say no. And we're not saying that there aren't moments that we don't disagree, as Mr. Koff would have said. But like I said initially, you have to be able to understand me whether or not you agree with me. So we will have to learn to agree to disagree. And that is something that has been foundation in our relationship and now marriage. So yeah.
Yeah, so patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue. And while we're on this journey, we are both growing. So Donase and I understood that from the get-go. So for us, I mean, sometimes I even forget that we're married because we just say, oh, we're there. However, that's just because I don't allow how the world views us to impact how I view us. So we have this caricature, it's a cartoon of us, and we're in our universe by ourselves. And that's just the reminder right there that we are in our own universe, and whatever else happens, we are the thermostats. We don't allow the temperature outside to affect us. We decide where it goes.
Listen.
And that's how we keep it together. That's how we keep it together. Because, it does get hard, but we understand each other, and we allow each other to grow. And yeah, that's it.
I know this is resonating with a lot of us, but we're gonna take a short break and get a song from Kibishi Kennedy, and then we'll continue the conversation and get a few questions before we wrap up for the evening.
Everybody loves the things you do, from the way you talk to the way you move. And everybody here is watching you, 'cause you feel like home. Somebody told me that you'd be here, and I swore you moved overseas. That's what you said when you left me. You still look like a movie. You sound like a song. My God, this reminds me of when we were young. Let me photograph you in this light in case it is the last time that we might be exactly like we were before we realized we were sad of getting old and made us so restless. It was just like a movie. It was just like a song. We were young when we were young, when we were young, when we were young. It's hard to win me back. Everything just takes me back to when you were there. Do you still care? And a part of me keeps holding on just in case it hasn't gone. I guess I still care. Do you still care? It was just like a movie. It was just like a song. My God, this reminds me of when we were young. When we were young, when we were young. Let me photograph you in this light in case it is the last time that we might be exactly like we were before we realized we were sad of getting old and made us restless. I'm so mad. It was just like a movie. It was just like a song when we were young.
Good job.
And we just had to hear just now that she went to St. Jacob. But where is she now?
Of course.
Where is she now? Okay.
Where are they now?
Where are they now? Right. Stay current. We teach timeless and relevance. Thank you so much, Kibishi. We're going to continue the conversation, but we're not just up here just for us. We want questions from the audience. But while the questions are coming, and we're going to give them a mic so we can hear the mic, hear the question, hear the mic, hear the question on the mic. I'm going to just say something, my personal touch, so to speak, for these two couples. And I'm thinking it's okay to say it, especially for these two over here. Some years ago, this young lady could hardly walk. And I'm telling you, if nothing else proved to me that this young man was, as they say, a keeper, he did not leave her side. He did not leave her side. Even in her classes, he was right there to support her. Why am I sharing this? Some of you end up, and excuse me, resort to some vernacular, with some crosses people in our life. No, I'm being real. And you see the signs and you ignore it. Yes, y'all see the red flags and you ignore it. You can tell. People, I said it to somebody in a just this morning. I don't believe people change. At this age, I really don't think people change. It's just that their true colors come out after a while. It might take 5, 10, 15, 20 years. When you see those signs, people don't ignore them. These two on the side right here, I am telling you, I have a certain level of admiration for them. And I think sometimes people look at them and say, boy, they're too much. They're just too much. But you know the thing, I recognize that if Bass is doing something, Brian is there. If Brian is doing something, Bass is there. That level of support. And that is why I'm saying it is important you find somebody who will support you regardless. It could be, recognize, that Bass has become such a sensation that if Brian wasn't sure of himself, he could allow that to impact on what is happening here. But that has not happened. There's some of you that will have some people that they don't want you to go much further than they are. And some of you know what I'm talking about. Make sure you have somebody who'll be right there with you, whichever level that you're at. And will always ensure that because at the end of the day, I'm sure when Bass goes out there and she does what she's supposed to do when Brian goes there, it is good to come home to somebody who will keep you grounded. Yes. Because at the end of the day, Bass is still Bass.
And I said this recently at the Sterling Gospel Music Awards that I could not have married anybody else but Brian. Like, me not see nobody who could have kicked him foot. Nobody. And he has been a husband for all seasons. He was the husband who was there who, when I had to work on a Saturday on air, he was there to wash and cook and clean. He was the husband who was there when I came off radio and I was just lecturing part-time and pregnant and us having a toddler. He's the husband now in the season where I am just out there and he is there supporting, doing everything. I tell my clients all the time that when you hire me, you hire my husband. Because when you hire me, you're also getting a videographer, an editor, a producer, and all if him not get paid, he's doing. I mean, he does get paid, but all if him not get paid, he's still doing. And I am just so grateful to God. Like, I cannot imagine my life with anybody else. And don't make me start cry. And also the husband in the father season. We have two beautiful girls, and what I love about him is that he's always willing to learn. Him not feel like him know everything. Nice. Him not feel like, boy, I have arrived. And yes, we have rough days, don't get it wrong. But I'd rather have rough days, tough days, all of the days with you.
Mrs. Cuff, I have to run in because what you said just resonated. Miss Daly would have alluded to earlier when I could not walk. And I remember the days when I would be at home, stuck in my bed, want to come to school, can't come to school, could even so much get up to go to the restroom. When you quit his job, when you came home, mind you, I wasn't wearing a ring then. I was his girlfriend at this point. When you quit his job, and that helped me to stay in school. As I finished the semester, I didn't have to go back to St. Anne and have my mother take care of me because he stepped up. And when you said that, I just have to say that sometimes I'm crying. Well, I think most of y'all know my tears and how close they are. And the temper, and when I cry, I think, and I look to God, and I say, God, who else could I keep up with all this madness? You see, when we did at the production house, oh Jesus, Miss Daly can tell you, I broke down a couple times well, and I wondered, how would I get through it? I came here to do the social media telethon, and I'm telling you, so when Wayne, you was a rock star, when you helped set up set, when you helped strike set, when you do, say me yourself, videographer, producer, designer, in anything I need. If I need a doctor, when you is it? If I need a chef, is it? He takes root, him step up, him say, okay, I'm your husband, I'm what you need. And this was before we got married. You see that level of dedication, people? If you not get that run, no, it's true, because you can't be giving. You have some people are takers, and they will take and give nothing in return. And you shouldn't be that taker, but you have to recognize that it's 50-50. You have to have him, he has to have you. And I'm sure I've been a student of both Mr. Cuff and Mrs. Cuff. And let me tell you, you'd see Mrs. Cuff come to class and she talk about her husband, and Mr. Cuff come to class and him go on about his wife. And I used to look at them and say, when will I get there? And here I am sitting across from them. And you can do it too, but you have to respect yourself. You have to know what you want. You have to know how to give, and you have to know how to take and do that 50-50. Yeah. Stand up, accept and give, don't only take. Mrs. Cuff, thank you for sharing that, because you just struck a chord. Nice. And I want to put this mic down. But yes, I really need to tell you guys, thank you. Thank you for being an example. Nice. Because you were, we are. Because you are, we are. And so we are here because we want you to know that I wear a burgundy shirt like you, and I have this, which simply means that you can have it too. Right. It just comes to commitment and respecting yourself and your partner.
Yep. I'm getting the wrap-up signal, but I do want at least one or two questions before we leave here this evening. Yes, come to the mic. Come to the mic.
Yeah, while she gets to the mic, note that part. It's 50-50. Give, receive. Yes. It's not one-sided. It's not one-sided at all. Good.
All right, so good afternoon, everybody. I am not asking this question for only me alone, but I feel like this is going to help a lot of people. First of all, I really appreciate the fact that you have God in the midst of your relationship. That is really applaudable. A word there. Praise God. All right, the first question is it bad to be curious? Because on a personal level, I know what I'm looking for in a spouse. And most of the people I see, maybe one I see so far away might have most of the characters I'm looking for. But most of the people I see, they don't carry what I'm looking for in a husband. I too believe in God, and I believe that Christ must be at the center of your relationship. But I'm realizing with most of the young men I'm coming across, they have a form of godliness, and they're not carrying the weight of Christ. In the essence where you go to them and you're going to them for advice, because I personally believe that one of the things you should look for in a husband is that he must be able to continue to encourage you in Christ and lead you to the Lord. And if I can't go to them for advice, then what sense does it make being in a relationship? So that's the one question. But the other one, is it wrong to be curious? Although you know that the person you're talking to at the time is not your husband, because you have the gut feeling that this is not the person you want or you're going to stay with. Is it wrong to still be curious, still entertain it, still fester it a little bit to see if maybe something happens? Because the options seem to be very few. So that's the first question.
All right, so I'll answer the first part and let Brian answer the curious part. The first part where you spoke about them having some of the attributes but not all of them. Personally, I'll say don't settle. The right one is out there, and the right one will lead you to God. And if him not lead you to God, he will lead you to something else. So I would say just continue seeking God, and through seeking God, you will find him. And a lot of times we settle because we feel like time running out or we want to meet certain goals. But I do believe, and if I was one of the persons who settled, me that married long time. But true, because me know what I bring to the table, and also you need to keep in mind that while you may have your list, not everybody is perfect. Not everybody. Nobody is perfect, right? And they're not going to tick off every single thing, but there are some fundamentals that you don't compromise, right? And so I believe that you continue seeking the Lord for that person, and I don't believe that the Lord is going to give you no pian man, and so continue seeking him.
In relation to the curious part, right? The curious part.
Yes.
we, and again, this is us, but we are not big on the whole dating scene. And let me tell you why. Let me give you the short version, because I'm still again the wrap-up signal. So there is a worldview which everybody is okay with, most persons, as to what dating is. You're there with somebody today, they're with somebody next week, you try the field. We don't believe in being curious that way. I tell people that a man needs God more than a man needs a woman. Yeah, because women came from man came from God. So if man find himself back in God, the right woman will come his way. So in being curious, be curious, and this is a challenge to the man them too. Be curious as to what it means to be a real man in God. When the man them live up to them true expectations as a man of God, yeah, whether you're spiritual or not, whether you're Christian or not, man come from God. If a man finds himself back in that place, the whole curious playing field that we have will not be around, and it doesn't need to be around, because if you're aligned to God, you're going to find the woman who are aligned to you. And if she aligned to God, she's going to find the man who are aligned to God who are aligned to her. And the curiosity that we have, curiosity killed the cat, and enough cat are dead because of how curious we are.
Last question. How do you manage to court and keep it godly? Because you know, say you have your feelings, him like you like him. How you manage to not touch and to do certain things and just keep it pure?
Before Mrs. Cuff answer, I was thinking of a point to leave here relating to that. Because for those who don't know, some of you know, we got married as virgins, right? And I believe that if I have something that is worth it, let me tell you how I know it's worth it. When I was in high school and I said I was a virgin, the amount of woman try to take my virginity. When I go to college and then find out I'm a virgin, the amount of woman try to take my virginity. me in a class, girl tongue in my ears. Me in a class, girl a feel me up. Because they wanted what I had of worth. Now every single person in here, whether you are a virgin or not, you need to understand that you are worth something. Yeah? And if you are willing to give up that which you are worth, as a man, if I was a single man and a woman willing to give up what she have, what is worth, she not worth my marriage. She not worth being my wife, because if she's going to give up what she considers worth, because I'm smart, yeah, no for the man they might feel like, sir, you tell out the thing them, you know. The truth, enough of we as men, we have a girl, what we check for, but enough of we not get married to her because she's not holding what she has as worth close to her. And if she give it up, then I saw it go. I go find somebody later on who is worth my time, worth my patience. And if a man wants something, he must go work for it. A man in the Bible work for a woman 7 years, he never get her. He work 7 more years and him get her. So no make no man tell you say, him not go wait and him not go this and that. There is something of value in you, the right man will wait. And men, a lot of times, women are the ones who are told that they have something worth. Yeah? From where a little pitney boy can run up and down and show off him teely. But the girls, they are told, hide it, don't let nobody see it. Not for the man them, because they have been ingrained that this is not as valuable as the woman own. The man them need to understand that you have things of worth too. Hold it close to you and don't get every woman. Don't get every woman, get the right woman. Because enough man who used to laugh after me at high school when me a virgin, enough of them call me, as big man and I say, yo, Cuff. Me have some crosses back on me if me ever wait. Yeah. So enough of them laugh at high school, them laugh at university, but now them respect me for my decision. So man them, hold what you have as well. Ladies, hold what you have. And when you find the right person, it will be worth it after all.
And quickly, just to say, for the 4 years that we were dating, how did we keep ourselves to ourselves? We were very deliberate about what we did. And by deliberate, I mean when we went out on dates, we always had a third party. And yes, it may look stupid to people looking on, but when you're in love and when your skin upon fire, all kind of things likely to happen. So we were very deliberate about where we went, how we spent time together, just generally how we operated in our relationship until that blessed day. Hey. Amen.
All right, our final question for the evening.
All right, so what encouragement can you give an individual who All right, let me get a bit personal. For me, I give up easily. So once you slip your slide, what encouragement can you give to someone who is like this?
Giving up is never the answer. That's one, Kibi. But really and truly, if you ask yourself, will it be worth it if I give up now? Will I get what I really want? And I'll get a bit personal. I'll use my degree as an example. I've been here for 7 years. I've seen a lot of people come. I've seen a lot of people go. I've went through a lot of teachers. I can call names that a lot of you probably wouldn't know, right? That's how long I've been here. Did the feeling of wanting to give up come? Yes. Does it still come even though I'm at my final year? Yes. But when I ask myself, Donna say, you are in your 20s. Is 30-year-old Donna say going to be proud of you? If that answer is yes, you can't give up. If you ask yourself that, okay, at the end of this week or at the end of this day, this fatigue that I'm feeling, will it pass? If that answer is yes, you don't have any grounds to give up. So what you need to do is make a checklist. Ask yourself what matters to you, what matters most, what really brings weight. Measure that against what you have to do, whoever you are dealing with, and then you will have your answer. It's not yes or no, it's not right or wrong. It's with your values, it's what you hold personal, and it's what you really want. You can't give up if you have something that you are ready to get or you really want it.
Okay. We're getting the wrap-up signal, but if I don't allow this person to talk, she might put it on her status. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
while she's coming up quickly, though, quickly.
While the person
this
is coming, on that point, nothing is wrong with giving up. Nothing is wrong with giving up, but it's what you give up. Give up fear, give up doubt, give up pity. There's a certain man in the Bible who said, if it is possible for this cup to pass me. This was Jesus. He thought about giving up. So it's human to think about it, but then what did he say? Nevertheless, thy will be done. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than you. No, yeah, it have to be.
Right.
That's why you have to be aligned to God.
Right.
You have to be aligned to God in everything.
Red flag, no. I can't take a red flag.
My question is, and it's something that I have pondered upon, like a lot of times. Do you really believe that there is somebody for everybody? What if I'm just going on and it's in vain? What if I won't ever find anybody? Not for me, I'm just saying, do you really think that there's somebody for everybody?
Personally, I believe that we all have different callings. Let me get biblical. Some are called to be prophets, pastors, apostles, teachers. Some are called to be helpers. Similarly, I believe that some people will not get married because they are dedicated and dedicating their lives to other things and other things aligned to their purpose. And that may not include a partner. That may include just making the world a better place. That may include just making somebody else's life. I know somebody who decided not to get married so that they could take care of their mother and their sister because they weren't well. So there are people who choose not to, but I do believe if everybody wanted to, they could. It's all about where you align your purpose. Because God made Eve for Adam because he realized that the man is not good for him to be alone. So I do believe if everybody align themselves a certain way, there is somebody, but I don't believe everybody will get to that place.
All right, so we're wrapping up. Final thoughts. Wayne, you. Final thoughts.
Yeah, final thoughts. If it's worth it, then you hold on, but you have to know what you value. So that was to Kibi's question. But overall, people, it's a dance. It's like your blades and you're sharpening each other, and as you go through life, it gets better. So let's do it.
Final thoughts. Well, be right with yourself, respect yourself, know what you want, as a woman or as a man, because we're both bringing something to the table. Once you respect yourself enough and you know what you want, you will see it. It is there. As Mr. Cuff said, if that's what you truly want, it is there. So just have a heading. Don't be floating. Yeah.
All right, my final words. Marriage is beautiful. Marriage is beautiful. Beautiful. But it also takes a lot of hard work. And I don't want people to forget the hard work part. Right, Johnny? Don't forget the hard work part. In order to keep a flower field beautiful and thriving, you have to water it, you have to fertilize it, you have to dig it up, you have to add this, you have to add that. So while we look on and we look at relationships and say, I want that, prepare to do the work.
For me, marriage is a birth, but it's also a death. The two of us got married, but the two of us died on that day and a new birth came about, which is why them say the two are one. People make a lot of comments on some of the posts Mrs. Cuff make on IG and wherever, and then will say, take away your phone, Mr. Cuff. Who did a video? Who came up with some of the ideas? Who was helping her to make some of the ideas better? When I go to an event and I am emceeing or I am doing something, who is the person who is there with me? Who is the person who is supporting me? When the two of you see, when any of you see any of us, you're literally seeing one person, but it's in two different bodies. Understand that if you get married or you get in a relationship at all, soul ties is no joke, but you are going to lose a part of who you are, and the person is going to lose a part of who they are, and a new union is going to be formed. So if you don't want to look like that person there, because of some ways them have, don't be with them. And if you don't want them look like you in some ways, don't be with them. Because at the end of the day, the two are going to be one. And if you're not going to like the person that represents you, don't.
You heard it from the experts. All I will say, in my singlehood, but with half a century of experience, looking and learning from other people, take your time. Some of you are in this mad rush sometimes. There is no rush. Take your time. If he or she is the one, you will know in time. This was our second general meeting. We have a next one the last Tuesday in November. That is November 29. But outside of that, the week after that, we will also have our final social for fall 2022. This was my absolute pleasure, and I trust that you learned about choosing the right one. Join us again next time for a general meeting.